So here we are, we're in the wardrobe room and the wig room's just there. This is where they're responsible for making 160 costumes and 80 wigs. It's a hive of activity.
Well, this is a bit of a sample from the show. These designs up the top here are sort of indicative of the first part of the show where we're in sort of Melbourne in the very early 60s, and it's going to be in sort of stark contrast to when we get to London, and the first London scene is Carnaby Street, and it's just this onslaught of just colour and pattern and psychedelia and vibrant craziness.
My sort of take on it is trying to make it always serve the story in that point of the show, what's going on, why are they dancing, not just doing this, you know, for the sake of it all the time. So, you know, it's making the 60s period stuff work with the story, but also trying to give it a modern, fresh energy that I can try and give to it. Because obviously I'm not like born in the 60s, I'm quite young. So I'm trying to give my flavour to it, yeah.
No, cue it after the transition out of the ship. I just put a question mark there as to whether or not we needed to just trim it a little bit. Needs a bit more I Dream of Jeannie or something, you know. Just hold your horses up there until we rehearse it. It looks fabulous.
The challenges with this music in particular is that Patrick has written a script that is very filmic. So it moves very quickly, it's short, sharp scenes, and there are a lot of locations, you know. So the piece has to have a real kind of flow, and, you know, so there's a lot of geography and choreography involved, you know, in how we kind of do it. So that's what we're kind of making our way through at the moment. But, you know, I think the idea of keeping it kind of simple and fluid is kind of useful. So that's one of the challenges that's part of the mountain that we're climbing, you know.
Just hold up there, please. Okay, now we just need to look at the exit, please, for Humpty.
Well, I tell you what, day one on something like this, when you get to meet the whole cast and the whole production team, and you very quickly figure out, particularly when it comes to the cast, that really you're dealing with a group of people who could comfortably interchange between the principal roles and the ensemble. You know, you're dealing with such a sort of depth of talent when it comes to the cast. And then when you take a slightly broader view and you look at the production team they've got on board, from the design aspects all the way through to, you know, the directors, our resident director, the choreographer, everything, it makes my smile get bigger and bigger every time I look around the room and go, oh yeah, because everyone's just doing great stuff.
Good songs stand the test of time. And even though some people, younger people, may not know some of the Seekers' early material, it stands up still. Strong harmonies, strong stories, strong melody. We've added a little bit to them. They're not exactly as they were when they were first done, but in many cases we've kept exactly what people recognise as being signature Seekers songs. But because it's a musical, we have to add a little bit of colour, a little bit of movement, and some variation on it.
Obviously our recording equipment and the kind of sound we're able to use these days is much better than it was in the 60s. But all the harmonies, all the lyrics, all the tunes, they're all exactly the way they did them. And so we used that as the base, and then we sort of went, well, without going too crazy, because we are basically doing a period piece, what can we do to make it sort of fresh? And I think also with Richard East's encouragement to kind of make them slightly more contemporary. And certainly the feedback we've had so far has been very positive. It's kind of the songs as people know them, but with a fresh new light.
There's a new world somewhere they call the Promised Land, and I'll be there someday if you will hold my hand. I still need you there beside me, no matter what I do, for I know I'll never find another you.
Because there are nearly 60 scenes in this musical, they move from location to location. So we decided to work together on a sort of basic one set idea to a design where it can be intimate and then epic when we want it to be.
Myra, Myra, many boats in the harbour, gonna go down south and make many for star and shake up the party. Shake up the party.
You try and put a team together that is comfortable within their own skin and that they have a full understanding what we're trying to do as a product and a piece of work and a story, and they're able to give that across to our actors as well and have a really harmonious team, which I think we've got.
Everybody has a great spirit on this show, and I think it comes back to that great music and the warmth of it. You know, that's what I find, you know, particularly kind of touching, and as a result of that, we're having a bit of a good time, to be honest.
I've just had my hair cut for the show, and I've got to show the director and the producer. They're the real big wigs. Good morning. Good morning.
How are you?
Mr.
Nice
Richard
to see you.
East, producer. Gary Young, wonderful director.
Oh, there we go.
I'm showing them my haircut.
It's very sharp, man.
Yeah,
Looking
it's good.
great.
It is looking good, actually.
Yeah, very good.
It's got the length and
You've
the
nearly had a
romance to
shave
it,
today
which is
too,
good.
mate.
I'd call that a success.
What I love about our cast is it's just a fun, open, free bunch of people that you get to work with every day.
And already we found a really nice family unit together, and they're so talented. Singing with them is a joy.
No idea is dismissed, and everybody's open to ideas and easy to get along with. And besides being ridiculously talented, they're just easygoing, fun people to be around.
We're all caught up in the spirit of the Seekers music and the story. Everyone seems to be as excited as everybody else, which is a lovely way to work.